let's talk about how you can rent a car on Turo for as cheap as possible. Hi, I'm Aaron Arslan, and I built a 50-car Turo fleet here in Denver, Colorado, and now I'm teaching you the tricks of the trade. The first tip that I'm going to give you when you're trying to book a car for the least amount possible is avoid airport fees at all costs. Turo is going to mark up your trip by 10 to 20% pretty routinely when you pick airport delivery. Now, on top of that, the hosts are going to be charging you a delivery fee just to have the car waiting for you at the parking lot. Instead of booking a car as airport delivery, try to book a car that is located near the airport that you can just have the same pickup experience with. For example, I put the home location for every single one of my cars as the parking lot that we used at the airport, rather than putting the home location as my home address, because then people would be booking at my home address and I would have to deliver the cars home to the airport, home into the airport. So every single one of my cars lived at the airport. Now, some of my guests would go ahead and book the car as a home pickup, and they would be saving a ton of money. On the flip side, other guests would be booking the car as airport delivery, and they would be getting upcharged by Turo. Now, I was nice and I didn't charge delivery, but some people will go ahead and get charged both that airport fee and a delivery charge. So at all costs, avoid airport delivery and just choose something nearby, and that's going to save you a lot of money. Tip number 2, you need to be mindful of how many hours your trip is. Rather than looking at the amount of days that you've booked for, pay attention to the amount of hours. The way that Turo decides how many days your car has booked for is they look at 24-hour increments. So if you've booked a car for 26 hours, you're actually getting charged 2 days worth of trips, because they've done 24-hour time chunk was 1 day and just a 2-hour chunk was a whole second day. Now, if you cut down your trip time to be 24 hours rather than 26, you're literally cutting the trip price in half. The third tip that I'm going to give you is book the car as far in advance as possible. So if you have the luxury of time on your side, book the car as early as possible, ideally a few months out, maybe 2 months out. The reason this is going to save you a lot of money is because if the host has automated pricing set up on their profile, then Turo is going to be trying to match the pricing with the demand. A few months out, there's not going to be a crazy amount of demand for the vehicle, so you're not competing with many people, so the prices are a bit lower than they would be once it gets to the point where everybody's booking the cars. Now, on top of that, a lot of hosts have the early bird discount activated on their profile, so if you're booking the car early enough, then you're going to get access to that early bird discount. So not only are you getting the lower pricing from the Turo automated pricing, but you're also getting a discount on top of that to make it even cheaper. Now, on the complete flip side, my fourth tip for you is book the car within a couple days of your trip starting. Now, the reason for this is that a lot of hosts are going to be decreasing their pricing just to get a last minute booking on their car. The last thing that a host wants is a car that's not on the road with a guest, because that is money out of their pocket. So a lot of times they're going to be decreasing the pricing just to get somebody in the car. So you can possibly get some steals with last minute bookings. Now, keep in mind that this is not a sure thing that you're going to get a very cheap last minute car. Be aware of that and don't put all of your marbles in this one basket, but this is something that you might be able to capitalize on. But don't necessarily bank on this, because you might be putting yourself in a bad situation if you can't find an option last minute. Now, this next tip number 5, is a bit out there, but for the more creative, resourceful people, here is what you should do. Go onto Facebook and join a Turo group for hosts in the area that you're traveling to, and then make a post on there, and probably act like you're a host, but make a post on there and say, hey guys, I'm looking for somebody that might have a car available for these dates within this budget. And then you're going to get a decent amount of people saying, oh, I've got a car available, because people just want to take up trips and help out. Then once everybody's responding to your post, the negotiations begin. So this is when you can start deciding whose car you might want to use and who you might be able to get the best pricing from, and you can have one-on-one negotiations with the actual host of the car rather than just going onto Turo and booking the car there. You can just have a conversation with them, say, hey, let's decrease your pricing to this, and then you'll get a booking for this long. So that is a bit more out there for sure, but trust me, it'll work. Now for the last tip number 6. I want you to make sure that you're keeping the phone number for your host in whatever city you might book from. The reason for this is that hosts love repeat renters. So if you reach out to your host and say, hey, I had such a great time with you last time I was in town. I'm coming back into town. I'm hoping you can get me a vehicle within this price range. They're probably going to be a lot more lenient for you than most other people. So go ahead and shoot them a nice message and see if you can get a discount from somebody that you've booked with before. So there you have it. There are 6 tips that I just gave you on getting the cheapest possible pricing on Turo. If you have any more questions, leave a comment or shoot me a message and I'm happy to help out. See you guys on the next one. Peace.